Welcome to this Master's Level Customer Service Training module for reading body language. We will be going over a brief overview of what body language is, how to discuss what certain signals mean and how to interpret them from the customers, some specific cues you will get from customers and how to use them to your advantage, and how to keep the customer's interest and help them to retain information. Body language is nonverbal communication between two or more parties. Our body language is what others use to make judgments about us or to try and gauge our current mood. Our body language and what we don't say accounts for 55% of our communication. The tone in which we speak words accounts for 38% of our communication. And the words we use only account for 7%. What you don't say can often be more impactful than what you do say. Words or language are useful for conveying information and data. Body language and gestures, however, are used for more interpersonal connections. The expressions, gestures, and movements we make, and even the stances we take all serve to create or to avoid an interpersonal connection with another person or persons. Arms crossed over the chest. This can indicate defensiveness or disinterest in what they're hearing. If your customer's arms are crossed, they are not being receptive to what you're telling them. They may not believe it, they may not understand it, they may simply not want to hear any argument, or it's possible that the information being relayed to them is being done in a way that they don't understand. Arms crossed, hands gripping the biceps. This will usually indicate that the customer disbelieves or distrusts you. They are not going to willingly listen to anything you have to say, and if they do choose to listen, it will likely not be objective. Develop a trust or a bond with this customer, and once they release their arms, then you may be able to return to getting them to listen. Arms crossed, fists clenched. If the customer has their fists clenched and their arms crossed, this is almost always going to be a sign of defensiveness or even hostility. This customer may indicate to you how they're feeling or the state that they're in long before you speak to them. If this is coupled with a tight-lipped smile or grimace, a clenched jaw, or a red face, then it's almost definite that this customer is extremely upset or hostile. Closed body stance. Even if your customer is standing, it is possible for them to demonstrate that they're closed off and unreceptive to what they're being told. If one leg is crossed over the other while they stand, this could be an indicator that they are on the defensive and not yet opened up to listening objectively to what they're being told. Personal grooming. Often when someone is disapproving of what is being said, or of another person's opinion, but they do not want to speak up and voice their thoughts, they will move to do some meaningless task which will take their visual attention away from you or others. This may be something such as picking lint off of their clothing, winding or setting a watch, or even scrolling aimlessly through their cell phone. This might be a good time to ask for their opinion or thoughts. For eyeglass wearers, if they repeatedly clean their glasses, this could mean that they're trying to stall for time to make their decision about what you're saying. The best way to respond to this is to not say anything at all and let your customer have the time they need to process. If your customer takes their glasses off and puts the end of an earpiece in their mouth or onto their lips, they're thinking. They may also use this tactic to stall for time. What they do next will be the key to which direction to go with them. If the next thing the customer does is put their glasses on, then you should show them the facts again, as that is what they're asking you to do non-verbally. They are asking to see the facts one more time. Summarize briefly to give them the most pertinent information. If the next thing the customer does is put their glasses away, this will most likely signal that they are ready to terminate the conversation and they have made their decision. The position of your customer's head may also be an indicator that you will want to watch for. If your customer's chin is up and facing towards you, it is likely that they are neutral and not convinced one way or the other to what you have to say. If the customer has their head down, chin angled slightly towards their chest, this normally indicates some sort of negative or judgmental attitudes towards you or what is being said. This is a time to get your customer involved in the conversation so that you can once again pique their interest. If your customer's head is tilted, this posture indicates that they are interested in what they're hearing. If this is coupled with the customer leaning slightly towards you, then they are highly interested and are listening objectively. There are ways to use your customer's body language as your cue to move forward or to pause. This is not often as simple as an actual thumbs up. Oftentimes, customers will cross their arms over their chests with their fingers hidden behind their biceps, but their thumbs may be visible and pointed up. If this stance is taken towards the end of a conversation, it generally indicates that the customer has been receptive to what they've heard. They're happy with the results or may be ready to purchase in the case of a sales interaction. If your customer is looking around anywhere but at you or at what you're showing them, they're indicating that they are disinterested in what you're saying. Either they do not want your assistance, or you are giving them information that they feel is irrelevant to them. If the information is relevant, help them to understand how it will benefit them. If you're uncertain whether or not the message is relevant, clarify with them what it is that they're looking for to make sure that you're working on the correct issue. If a customer tugs on their ear, this could signal a couple of things. It could mean that they're indecisive about the issue at hand and need some help being convinced. This would be a good time to reiterate a point or to demonstrate how the product or service will benefit them. It may also signal untruthfulness. Head nods are somewhat subjective. If the nodding is quick and stiff, it could indicate that the customer has become bored or feels that they're not being given the chance to say or add something to the conversation. Do a self-check to see if you're monopolizing the conversation, and if so, give them the chance to speak. A slow, steady, even nod of the head will indicate that the customer is listening and is interested in what is being said. They are receptive to the message, and it would be an appropriate time to move forward to the next step or to resolution. With either head nodding gesture, if the customer nods for too long, more than 15 seconds or so, then it likely indicates they have lost interest, become bored, and are simply being polite. When a customer has an interest in someone or something, their blink rate will increase. If, during the course of the interaction, you notice the customer is beginning to blink more rapidly, this will likely be a signal that you have gained their interest. If they simply have a fast blink rate from the beginning, this would not be a good indicator to use in order to determine interest. There are ways to use body language cues to your advantage. If you need to show a customer something, it's important to know how to keep their attention on the information being given. When visual stimuli is used to send information, the information they retain comes 87% from the eyes, 9% via the ears, and 4% via other senses. So controlling where your customer looks is vital. Use something such as a pen or laser pointer to touch the item and point out different features or information on the object. Press the tip of the pointer where you want your customer to look as you're telling them about it. When what you're showing your customer is no longer directly relevant to the physical aid or item, use your hand to lift the pen or pointer up so that it is in between you and your customer, and if possible directly within your line of sight of each other. This will lift their eyes up to follow the pen, and they will then make eye contact with you again so you can continue what you were saying. All of these tips and tricks can be used in order to better serve your customers, increase your sales, and increase your customer satisfaction. Thank you for joining us for this customer service module on reading body language.